That's it. Okay, got it. Everybody agrees, being recorded. Semuanya setuju ya, akan direkam. Okay, can we
Okay,
start?
can you start?
Yeah. Do you want to introduce something or straight over to me?
Okay, I will open this meeting, okay?
Sure.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining this meeting. This is the seventh meeting, right?
Right.
Okay, with Mr. Frank. Thank you very much, Mr. Frank, for accompanying us until this meeting. You are so kind with us and you always give us the good idea about the academic writing, and we can learn from your explanation. It is a clear explanation, and we hope from this discussion, from this meeting, we can improve our academic writing. Okay, I will give the time for Mr. Frank to continue in this meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your nice introduction. It's time for our seventh meeting. We've already done 5 sessions, plus last time number 6 was a kind of mid-test, or what I call progress test. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All the way from Bandung in West Java to East Java, where you are in Bojonegoro. I hope to visit you sometime when it's good, because now it's safe. There's no more pandemic. Although after Mudik in Jakarta, the numbers went up. I think it was 2,000 a day, naik lagi ya. So
Yeah.
we have to be careful. But I hope to visit Bojonegoro one day. It would be my pleasure. I enjoy teaching you, although it's from a distance. But I feel close to the students are making good progress, and I hope my materials will be effective. And it's also to stimulate your own creativity, because based on these materials, you can add some more. You can ask the students to kind of come up with topics they like, topics of interest. And today I'd like to start by picking up from last time. We stopped at text number 4, I think, and today it's time for the Oath of Youth, the TH, double TH, what you call Sumpah Pemuda, and this is the old spelling because it was in 1928. It's the era when Indonesian was still spelled OE instead of U, yeah? So you. The Oath of Youth, well, the first time was on the 28th of October, and it's still celebrated, of course, every year. So it's not something that's in the past. It's still very much part of living history, you might say. I'll read the beginning, and maybe some of the students can continue. So just to warm up, the Oath of Youth, Sumpah Pemuda, of 28th October 1928, has been made a point of glory in the creation of Indonesia. It was the moment when the well-proclaimed representatives of the Indonesian nation declared Malay, Bahasa Melayu, to be Indonesian in their famous slogan, "One Archipelago," so satu Nusantara, ya, sebenarnya, one nation, one language. So to create unity. If we have hundreds of languages, nobody can understand each other. Like the Sundanese and the Javanese don't really understand. These are different local languages, and of course different cultures, different backgrounds, but this will unite our nation. So one archipelago, one nation, one language. That was the motto or the slogan. None of the numerous descriptions and retrospectives of the events surrounding the oath, Sumpah, however, makes clear what form of Malay these nationalists had in mind when they decided to make Malay the language of the nation they were trying to create. For them, this lack of clarity, lack is an important word here, we have to define it. This lack of clarity didn't really matter. Bahasa Indonesia was a dream, a project that awaited implementation. And whenever these nationalists deliberated on the issue, mainly in the colonial language of Dutch, pakai bahasa Belanda ya, karena mereka sekolah Belanda, like some of the elite use Dutch as their academic language. Sukarno, for instance, was very fluent in Dutch. He could be a native speaker. They were obviously not aware of the intricate problems that needed to be solved in concretizing, making concrete, the stream of one language in everyday life. When you look at the words that are in bold type, the cetak tebal, these will come back as vocabulary items. So in the first paragraph, we have lack, we have deliberated as a verb, and intricate is an adjective. Okay, who can carry on with the second paragraph? Who can read out from language is the soul of the nation? Could you appoint a student, Ms. Nani?
Okay.
Me, sir.
Okay. Siapa tadi?
Esa.
Esa. Come on, Esa.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's hear it.
Okay. Language is the soul of the nation became the wing slogan in circle of Indonesian nationalists and beyond. It echoed an idea that had taken hold in the imagination of Europeans a century before. Nationalism being a creation of the oppressors as much as of the oppressed. Political and cultural activists in the Indies took European nations as their example. Did every nation not have a single language that served as a unifying force? Should Indonesians not reach a consensus about the idea that Malay, alias Bahasa Indonesia, should be an essential tool in unifying the people of the islands? Should Indonesian, a language that was almost no one's in terms of origin, though many people knew it in one form or another, not be the language of the new culture they aimed to build.
Yes, very good. Well done. Languages are the soul of the nation. That was the slogan. It became a winged slogan, so a slogan that inspired everybody. Like your Garuda also has wings. There's maybe symbolic language here. In circles, so not circle, but circle. Yeah, circle is lingkaran, but also the people around this movement. So the circles here referring to the people involved. Yeah, yang terlibat. Of Indonesian nationalists, so people fighting for the nation, and beyond that. Apart from this group, it echoed. In Indonesian, you have this word echo naung, yeah. So something that reverberates. You hear again. Your famous bird beo, what we call the mountain myna, also echoes what it hears. So if you play a keroncong or dangdut song, the beo can sing it. If you say Assalamualaikum, the beo can speak Arabic, but it cannot speak by itself. So it's echoing like a parrot, right? So it echoed an idea that had taken hold in the imagination of Europeans a century before. So in Europe, we already had this movement of nationalism, that people no longer wanted all these little kingdoms. Like Italy had 100 kingdoms and was not really one nation. Germany was divided up into many different parts, and so on. So this already happened in Europe. Nationalism being a creation of the oppressors, and again, a word that's important here. When you oppress somebody, you keep them down. So it's an aggressive form. And you, as a result, you may feel depressed. Political and cultural activists in the Indies is Hindia Belanda, yeah? So the Dutch East Indies, took European nations as their example. So in Europe, we had separate states. You know, France was no longer divided. Germany was no longer divided. Italy, out of many, many kingdoms, have become one nation. And this was their example. Did every nation not have a single language that served as a unifying force? Because in Europe, people also speak dialects. People speak provincial languages, what you call vernacular. Bahasa daerah ada juga di Eropa, ya? Like my grandfather spoke West Frisian, not just Dutch, but also a local language. Should Indonesians not reach a consensus, this means everybody agrees with this, consensus, about the idea that Malayu, or later called Bahasa Indonesia, should be an essential tool, so something you use to unifying the nation, the people of the islands. Indonesia nobody really spoke it as a mother tongue, but that may change now. If you ask, for instance, people in Bandung, what's your mother tongue? Bahasa ibumu apa? Some people say Indonesian, and that no longer Sundanese or Javanese or Bahasa Batak or whatever. But Indonesian is becoming more and more people's mother tongue. In Java, in East Java, I remember in Tuban, at the time when I was there in the 90s, 80s, 90s, I think Javanese was more dominant, right? Unanin masih ya di Bojonegoro. You still have this, when you listen to students talk with each other, it's more Javanese than Indonesian,
It's more
or
Javanese.
maybe a mixture.
Javanese.
Yeah, I think
Javanese.
still more dominant, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I took a course in Yogyakarta, a crash course, kursus kilat, and we learned Indonesian. And then I asked, why don't we learn Japanese? And they said, oh, that's very expensive. We don't have the teachers. And when I arrived in Tuban, everybody spoke Japanese.
Yeah.
So Indonesian is used, but it just felt to be a formal language,
Yeah.
like the police
Sorry,
who
Pak.
ask you a question.
Sila, hindi nila.
Yeah, so you use it for
Hindi,
formal
hindi.
occasions at school, but
Yeah.
with your relatives, with your family and your friends, you speak Bahasa Jawa, ngoko, yeah, the middle level, medium.
That's right.
Okay, so that's still the case. So there's a lot of discussion going on. What would be the best language to speak for everybody? So many people knew it in one form or another, maybe varieties of Indonesian, and that should be the culture, a language of the new culture. Okay, next paragraph. Who can read?
Me.
Okay, Sandy, come on.
Bahasa Indonesia.
Bahasa Indonesia was a creation indeed, a hybrid of various forms of Malay.
Yeah.
Primarily regulated by European nations of grammar that fail to account for many of the best features of any form of Malay. In all of its aspects, Bahasa Indonesia is inspired by written forms of Malay
Yeah, so it's written forms, yeah.
in all of its by written forms of Malay that have been analyzed.
Sorry to interrupt. Written forms, not I. You practice writing, but the forms yang tertulis, yeah, so written form. Yeah, thank you for highlighting. Yeah, written forms,
By written forms of
Very
Malay
good,
that
yeah.
have been analyzed, systematized, and extended by way of categories based on European linguistics in the political constellation that was propagated in textbook, journalism, and literature. This Bahasa Indonesia was authoritative enough to push other forms of Malay towards the margins as traditional idiom, dialect, substandard language, or slang. As if Malay, fluid and evasive, was willing to have itself regulated, as if the dialogues among relatives, that is, among the various forms of Malay, could be silenced.
Yeah, so that's a kind of question, rhetorical question. Yeah, you say no, of course it cannot be regulated. People will always have their own variety of Indonesian. So when you listen to people from East Java, from Surabaya, for instance, they sound very different from people of Solo, Jogja, and Bandung has a different accent. So the local language still influences the national language. Well read. Just a few words. Hybrid was okay. Written, propagated. Yeah. Sorry. 3 verbs here. Analyzed, systematized, so turn into a system, and extended, diperluas, yeah? So analyzed, systematized, and extended. Difficult words here. And then you got propagated, authoritative, AU dibaca O, yeah? Like audience, audio-visual, and so on, yeah? AU dibaca O, long O. So authoritative. and the rest was fine. Idiom is referring to expressions, yeah, istilah. So when you say bos saya lagi kebakaran jenggot or kebakaran kumis, it's an idiom, it's an expression you use, and if you translate it, nobody understands from outside. Say, oh, really? Is your mustache on fire? Well, it means angry, right? And in English we would say, my boss hit the ceiling, but it doesn't mean he's repairing the ceiling, it just means he blew up. Okay, so idiom are expressions. Okay, let's take a look at the questions. Thank you for reading. Well done, everybody. The questions are not so difficult. The text is difficult. The questions are fairly straightforward. So I hope you can do them. Question 31, which of the following statements is true? So 3 statements are false out of A, B, C, D, and 1 is true. It means it's part of the text. It's what you would say when you paraphrase it or when you say it in other words. So look at the facts here. Who can answer? A, B, C, D. Only 1 is true, 3 are false. Jadi hanya 1 yang benar ya, 3 yang salah, yang keliru. So which of the following statements is true?
I guess D.
D. Bahasa Indonesia is a created rather than a natural language. Exactly, that is right, because it's based on European models of logic. Yeah, so there are no exceptions. The grammar is very, very straightforward, and everybody can learn it. In my opinion, Indonesian is a perfect language for all of Asia, and maybe even as a world language. Everybody can learn it quickly. Most of my Western friends learned it in maybe 3 or 6 months, depending on how often they used it. I was in Tuban, there were no foreigners, and so I talked to my neighbors, I talked to my colleagues, my students, and I picked it up quickly. So it's an ideal language because there are no exceptions practically. It's very straightforward and easy to learn. And also, everybody recognizes something in Indonesian. So if you come from Portugal, you will hear the word mesa, and it's become meja, right? Fiesta in Portuguese, it becomes pesta. Hari Minggu is from domingo, and so on. If you're Arabic, you will recognize, if you're from Saudi Arabia, for instance, Middle East, you will recognize words from Arabic. Indians will recognize words from Hindi, Urdu, and so on. So it's an ideal international language, I would say. Okay, on to question 32. Let me see. Which of the following is the antonym or the opposite, kata lawan ya, or lawan kata, to the noun lack, as used in the final sentence of the opening paragraph? One of the words that was in bold type. So if you are lacking something, you have a lack. What is the opposite word? Anyone? Yes, somebody raised their hand. Septica?
A, surplus.
Yes, very good. If you have a lack, you have a not enough of something, a lack of water, a lack of cleaning fluid, a lack of, bread in the kitchen, and so on. And a surplus means you have more than enough. Very good. Scarcity is also lack, yeah, not enough. Shortage, same thing. The verb deliberated, as used in the same sentence, is used in all of the following contexts, except, so a negative question, terkecuali. So the word deliberated is a verb. It's used in the same sentence, and it can be used in various contexts mentioned here: debates, fistfights, meetings, and discussions. Which one does not fit in? So a negative question, be careful there.
Fish fight, B.
Yeah. Yes, because when you say deliberate, it means you use your brain and not your fist. That would end everything. You get into a fight, ya, tidak pakai genggam. So it's an intellectual process, and it's not part of fist fight. That would be very emotional. When people lose their temper, they would get involved in a fist fight, right? Okay, number 34. Well done. You're doing well. This is a difficult exercise. The adjective intricate, as used in the same sentence, is most similar in meaning to which one? Complex, simple, interesting, or magical? Intricate. Jangan yang mirip, ya. I told you in earlier sessions, kalau mirip pasti keliru. If it looks like it, a look-alike or sound alike, it's usually wrong. So
Complex.
intricate, interesting. Salah. So something else.
A. Complex.
Complex.
Complex is right.
Yes.
Rumit, yeah, Indonesian. So something that is not easy to analyze, not easy to define, but complex, intricate, an intricate design, intricate art, and so. Okay, when you look at batik shirts, are usually very intricately designed, very complex patterns. Then 35, the verb form echoed is used in the second sentence of paragraph 2, indicates which of the following concept when you echo something. Difficult one. Who can try? Yeah, thank you for highlighting.
Maybe C.
Yeah, resemblance. When it looks like it, you echo, it kind of reverberates. Yeah, it's like an echo. Very good. 36. Which of the following groups would not be associated, again, a negative question, with the term oppressors as used in the next sentence? When you're an oppressor, you're an authoritarian person, orang yang otoriter, ya, yang sangat agresif. You keep people down. Like a dictator is an oppressor. Okay, so
Yeah.
which one is not associated with oppressors? A, B, C, or D? Yeah.
Victims.
B.
Victims.
Yes, because colonial powers keep the colonies down. School bullies can be very aggressive mentally or, in a sadistic way. It could be physically. And dictators are the classic examples of oppressors. So victims are on the other side, the opposite. Very good. 37, the author uses the noun hybrid. It can also be an adjective, but here it's a noun. In the opening sentence of the final paragraph, you see it right there, to mean which of the following, a hybrid. Don't take the lookalike. Yang mirip pasti salah. So not hyperbole. That means when you overstate something.
Combination.
Very good. In Asia, we hear a lot of hybrid forms of music. For instance, K-pop is from Korea, but then they use American pop music. So it's no longer pure K-pop, it's a hybrid form, and so on. My children are hybrids. Mother is Japanese, I'm Western, I'm European, so they got Indo-Belanda. It's also a hybrid, combination of two racial backgrounds. Then number 38, to draw an analogy when you compare things to show something, passive verb form propagated, as used in the third sentence of the final paragraph, is opposed to censored in the way that spread is opposed to it's difficult. So dua kata lawan, yeah. So you have one pair, propagated as opposed to censored. When you propagate, you spread it, you support it, but you censor, you take it down, you cross it out, or you say this may not be shown. And so a lot of movies in Indonesia used to be censored. Yeah, there was a badan sensor, so you would jump from scene to scene, so not too much violence or love scenes, and so on. We're all censored under Suharto before your time. And spread is opposed to which one?
Maybe. Cut.
Yeah, I think, cut. That's right. Yeah, cut. When you cut a scene, you censor it in a way. Very good. 39, almost finished. Go down a little bit. Yeah, that's it. The conjunct is a linking word. Yeah, kata pengunjung. Penghubung, sorry, kata penghubung. My brain is fried. The conjunct as if is used twice in the closing sentence of the passage, may suggest that. What about Malay? Is it easy to silence it or to kind of regulate it in any strict way? Or will there always be varieties of it? So it's a kind of conclusion that you can't force language. I mean, if people have their own way of expressing, a good example is Singlish. In Singapore, people speak English, but it's clearly their own variety. A taxi driver may say, "You go where?" instead of "Where are you going?" So it's kind of English turned into Chinese, or you chow at noon, you check out at noon. It sounds very Chinese. So people always have a variety. Now, which one fits here? Yang mana yang cocok?
A.
No, as if meaning masa sih bahasa Melayu bisa diatur dengan dengan apa ya, dengan peraturan, dengan harus begini, harus begitu. Although in Indonesia you still learn, in school bahasa Indonesia yang baik dan benar, but people will still use their own varieties. A good example is when I learned Indonesian, the negative was tidak, but when you listen to people talking, they say enggak or ndak, and so on. Yeah, you have varieties of pronunciation and so on. So A is not right. Which one is correct? Jadi bahasa Melayu tidak mau, ya, malas ditaatkan, ditaati.
C.
That would still be would be in favor, would support, yeah.
Oh.
Two left.
D.
B is correct, yeah. Malay would be reluctant, unwilling, yeah, as if it were willing, but it's not, yeah. Okay, difficult question. Number 40, the last one, is the adjective evasive, as used in the final sentence of the passage, may lead to which of the following conclusions about the nature of language? When a language is evasive, it's not so easy to put your finger on it, to keep it in a certain way. The schoolboy may
I
give
think,
yeah.
wait. Language is everlasting.
No, that would be true in itself, but not related to the text. Tidak relevan ini.
Language is hard to pin down.
Yes, that's it. Language will also always develop in different ways. You cannot predict. Susah diperakirakan, ya. It's evasive. It always escapes from very fixed rules. It used to be the case in England, just as a matter of interest. The language on TV and radio and language spoken by educated people used to be called the Queen's English, and now, because we have King Charles, the King's English. It was also called BBC English, because on the radio and on TV, people would use that kind of English. And some people called it Oxford English, because at the University of Oxford, all of the lecturers talk like that. When you watch a film like a Harry Potter series, people still have that accent, but it's not spoken by everybody in the United Kingdom. It's only maybe 5 to 10% who speak that kind of high model of pronunciation. A lot of people have local dialects. Scottish people have a different variety, Welsh people, and so on. So language always escapes, is always evasive. You cannot restrict yourself to one rigid model. That's my point. Okay, now we've got one more text here for the analysis, and this is about something interesting, because here in Bandung we have a street named after Pasteur. I don't know about Bojonegoro, but here we have a street. And this text is about research, doing research into viruses. And so we've just survived the coronavirus, so it's maybe interesting to read. Who can read the beginning? Late in the 19th century. Anyone who hasn't had a turn? Yang belum dapat giliran, ya? It's getting hot here. Anyone?
Can I try to read
Yeah,
it?
sure. Yeah, Septika.
Late in the 19th century, while investigating chicken cholera, Louis Pasteur infected some birds with bacteria that he believed would kill them. He was wrong. Not only did the chicken survive, but they were also completely immune. Pasteur had made a mistake, but in doing so, he had also stumbled upon a very useful vaccine. His further experiment would lead him to discover the nature of contagious disease, known as the germ theory of disease. But today, the country...
Very good. Yeah, germ theory, the germ theory. Like German.
But today, the country that got the world...
Just beginning.
father of
Back
modern...
to the top. Yeah, sorry. Septika, well read. Back to the top. Ke atas sedikit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, late in the 19th century, while investigating chicken cholera, you read well, CH is sometimes K. You got it right. So architecture, cholera, we have here chaos, yeah, kekacauan. And so you read it right. Well done. Louis Pasteur is a French name here. Infected some birds with bacteria that he believed would kill them. So just an experiment. He was wrong, and not only did the chickens survive, but they were also completely immune. Now, this made him think Pasteur had made a mistake, but in doing so, he had also stumbled upon a very useful vaccine. His further experiments would lead him to discover the nature of contagious diseases, infectious, and known as the germ theory of disease. Somebody else, you read very well, Septica. Somebody else, but today, yang lainnya?
Lainnya.
Anyone? I haven't heard a new voice, new talent.
Mbak Gilang, maybe? Noviana?
Yeah.
Yes,
Mbak
Miss.
Gilang,
Okay, Mbak
you
Gilang,
try?
come on.
Yeah. But today,
But today, the country that gave the word the father of modern medicine is no longer so ready to see the benefits of getting things wrong. According to a growing number of intellectuals and education specialists, they claim that the French school system is leaving children bereft of creativity,
yeah.
flexibility of thought, and crucially, confidence in their own mental abilities.
Yes, very good. French, make it more ch, yeah? French. So it's around your lips, French. Not friends, but French. Yeah, otherwise it sounds like friends, yeah? Teman-teman, konco-konco. The rest is fine. Well done here. Oh yeah, one more word, country. Yeah, not country, but country. I can count on you. And it's OU, but here, country. All right, one more paragraph. I'll read the end so we can go to the question, long paragraph. To counter this culture of intellectual timorousness, academics from elite institutions hosted a festival in Paris with an unusual mission. Its participants were encouraged to make as many mistakes as possible. Sebanyak kesalahan mungkin, ya. As one of them commented, a large part of the French school system is based on the generally accepted idea that errors are negative. So if you make mistakes, it's bad news for you. When in fact, it's by this very process of learning that you make progress. Hanya bisa maju kalau salah, ya, if you realize what kind of mistake you learn from your mistakes, right? The current system is founded on a strict learning of knowledge rather than on creativity or innovation. And yet, it was Einstein himself, famous physicist, who said that the only sure way to avoid making mistakes is to have no new ideas. So people without ideas never make mistakes, but they know they're not very creative. They don't come up with new theories, for instance, like he did. Okay, question number 41. The verb form stumbled upon. It's also, I think, a website. Yeah, you can look for information via stumble upon. The verb form is used in the last but one paragraph, the penultimate one. And let me see. It suggests which of the following elements. When you say you stumble upon an idea, you stumble upon a new view of life, you stumble upon a new philosophy, anything. What element is involved here? Horror, chance, kebetulan, pain, or suffering. Oh, sorry, chance. Yeah, chance. That's right, chance, kebetulan. You stumble upon it. It's like when you walk into a dark room and you stumble over the furniture, you fall over. It's by coincidence or by chance. Very good. 42. The following statement is untrue. So 3 are true, but 1 is false. It's a lie. It's not in accordance with the reading passage. Which of the ones is untrue? Only one. Read the statements and decide which one is not correct. It's far from the truth. It's beyond the truth.
I guess D. Regarding as the father and mother. No. C.
See, you're right. Yeah, Louis Pasteur was of aristocratic German descent. He was a Frenchman, and he was just an average guy. He was not a priai. He was not part of the establishment. Okay, well done. Then we have the rather formal word in agak resmi ya kata ini. The formal word bereft of, as used in the last sentence of paragraph 2, could best be replaced with which of the following prepositions? Sorry, saya ngetik ya, preposition PR, prepositions. Inside, within, around, or without. When you're bereft of your parents and so on, it's a sad thing. Lagi berduka cita ya. So bereft of, actually bereaved of. They've been taken away, you could say. So it must be like, yeah, without, yeah, bereft of your relatives when you are alone in this world. Very good. 44, the adverb crucially goes back to the crux of the matter, yeah? The point that's important. In the same sentence is closest in meaning to, maybe not exactly the same, tapi yang paling dekat, yeah. Which one? Amazingly, essentially, fatally, or ridiculously? Crucially. It's crucial for Indonesia to have a good president. In 2024, you have the presidential elections, and it's crucial for Indonesia's future to have, a very strong president. So it's very important.
Amazingly?
No, nothing to do with amazement. That's when you're very surprised.
Essentially.
Essentially, very good. Yeah, it's very important. It's of crucial importance. Yeah, very important. Okay, crucial. I've heard it in Indonesian, but it's rather formal. Yeah, essentially. Good. 45. Timorousness, as used in the opening sentence of the final paragraph, is the direct opposite, kata lawan lagi ya, lawan kata, of which of the following attitudes. So we're looking for the antonym, yeah, the opposite meaning: hot, cold, bright, stupid, and so on. So we have timorousness when you feel afraid. You're always afraid of making mistakes. Takut keliru, takut salah. Used to be very common among the Javanese, people speaking very good English, and they would be afraid to make mistakes. So
D.
which one? Yes,
D.
courage.
Courage.
D is correct. Yeah, very good. If you're full of courage, you say anything. But if you're very timorous, you're timid is another word. You're afraid of making mistakes. Excellent. 46. Where can we find criticism? Kritikan, yeah, of the French educational system. This one is difficult, takes time. When you're doing a test, skip this one because it takes time to reread the paragraph, but it's about making progress, yeah? So if you look at the final paragraph, the second sentence, of the final paragraph, as one of them commented, a large part is based on the generally accepted idea that errors are negative. You're constantly reminded by teacher, oh, this is wrong, that is wrong. And then, of course, you lose courage. But he says it's by this very process of learning that you make progress. So that is the criticism. D, yeah? We don't have much time today, so I'm helping you here. D, the second sentence, which ends in progress. That's the only way to make progress, by realizing your mistakes and learning from them. Okay. 47. To whom does the personal pronoun them refer to in the second sentence of the final paragraph? Who are we talking about? So again, the last paragraph we have as one of them commented, one of these people. What kind of people does it refer to? Participants, academics, elite institutions, or festivals? Now, if you make a comment, you must be human. So, You can drop elite institutions and you can drop festivals, right? So which one is it, A or B, participants or academics? Which is the last mentioned yang disebutkan barusan ya tadi?
Participant.
Yes, very
Participants.
good. So always when you have a pronoun, it usually refers to the last mention yang pas, yang disebutkan sebelumnya. So festivals cannot comment, and elite institutions maybe through their leaders can comment, but an institution itself cannot comment. So participants, very good. You're in good shape today, all of you. 48, the adjective very, as used in the same sentence, is used to do what? What's the function of very, amat, sangat? And so in Jakarta, you always hear banget, yeah, at the end of a sentence, every single sentence. So very, which one, what's the function? What does it do when you add very? If you're bright, but I say you're very bright today, what does it do? Anyone?
Emphasize.
Emphasize, it underlines, it makes it stronger, it stresses the meaning. So it amplifies, you could say, like when you use an amplifier, ampli, you make the sound louder and so on. So it emphasizes. Very good. Undermining would be the opposite. Yeah, you make it less important. Again, conjunct, kata penghubung, yet here in the final sentence of the passage is used to indicate what, and yet it was Einstein himself who said, what do you want to express here? Listen to the intonation as well. Yeah? And yet it was Einstein himself. So maybe something surprising. So when you avoid making mistakes, it means you're without ideas, you're not creative. You have to make mistakes to discover something. Trial and error. It's the way you learn a language, it's the way you learn mathematics, it's the way you learn how to deal with people. It's kind of stumbling and falling and then getting up again. So yet indicates what? Namun ya, in Indonesia, namun demikian.
Similarly. It's like
Contrast, yeah? D is correct. Contrast. Yeah, indicates a contrast. And yet, namun, and so. Yeah. Okay, last question, number 50, and we'll move on to something else. His comment, as quoted, because he really said this, can best be rephrased dengan kata lain apa? Scientists with new ideas never make mistakes. New ideas are bound, pasti, to arise from trial and error. New ideas are always the product of flawless, perfect experimentation, or only perfect scientists and experiments produce new ideas. How would you rephrase dengan kata lain? In fact, when you talk about a summary or a précis or an abstract, it's also saying what you write in your paper in other words. So it's rephrasing. It's an essential concept for our course. So when you look at Einstein's comment, how can you rephrase it? How can you say it in other words, but retaining the meaning? Yeah. Scientists with new
scientists with never make mistakes.
No, because he says when you avoid making mistakes, menghindari, then the only way you can do this when you have no ideas. So it's not very productive. If you're too obsessed with avoiding mistakes, you can never come up with a new idea. He describes a process. Yes, B. New ideas are bound to arise, pasti muncul, from trial and error. Through mistakes, experimenting, making mistakes, then you will come up with new ideas. Yes, very good. Important for all scientists, all of you, when you graduate from Universitas Sunan Giri in Bojonegoro, you are bound to have gone through many trial and error processes. Very good. Okay, now we've come to today's session, and it's time for a text about a brilliant lady, Hedy Lamarr. And what we're doing now, using Wi-Fi, using the internet, and using our cell phones, is all thanks to her. Let's read a text about this lady who was not American. She ended up in Hollywood, but she was originally Austrian, and she emigrated. Apart from a brilliant brain, she was also very, very beautiful, so she became a Hollywood star. And let's see if we can read a little bit. Somebody who hasn't read yet, yang belum dapat giliran untuk membaca, Hedy Lamarr as inventor.
Okay,
Read.
Kemal.
Yeah. Anybody I haven't heard yet? A new voice, new face, a new student.
Titi? Novia? Muziro? Kapan, guys?
Just the beginning.
Anastasia? Can you?
Okay. Come on.
Novia? Titi ya, Kemal Titi. Read the passage.
Yeah. Can you read out the passage so I can hear all the way in Bandung?
Okay.
Live from Bojonegoro to Bandung. Okay, let's hear it.
Salsabila, come on. Don't be afraid. Just
Yeah.
read it. Salsabila.
Yeah, Salsabila is a good name. Could you try it?
Could you try? Okay, maybe others. Iin, can you? Where are you guys? Anastasia, come on. Konita, come on, Konita. Can you read?
Inshallah, Miss.
Okay, Konita,
Okay,
come on.
God willing, I'm listening. God willing, inshallah. Yeah. Although, walaupun, yeah, although
Although the Australian-born movie star Hedy Lamarr had no formal training and was primarily self-taught, she worked in her spare time on various hobbies and inventions, which included an improved traffic stoplight. Among the few who know of Lamarr's inventiveness was aviation tycoon Howard Hughes. Lamarr discussed her relationship with Hughes during an interview, saying that while they dated, he actively supported her tinkering. Saying that while they dated, he actively supported her tinkering hobbies.
yes, okay, thank you very much. From the beginning, she had no formal training, so she didn't go to any specific school. She was primarily self-taught, so otodidak in Indonesian. She worked in her spare time when she was not working on various hobbies and inventions. What are your hobbies?
Konita.
Do you have any hobbies when you're not studying? What do you do as a hobby? Like singing, dancing, playing badminton? What is your hobby?
What is your hobby?
Volleyball.
Yeah?
I'm volleyball.
Oh, you play volleyball. I used to play volleyball. That's a popular sport here. And inventions is when she tried to find new ways of developing things. So she made a traffic stoplight, yeah, lampu lalu lintas. So she was technically kind of advanced, yeah, talented. Among the few who knew of Lamarr's inventiveness, so having this ability, was aviation tycoon. Difficult word. Aviation is the world of aeroplanes, of flying, and tycoon is a very rich man, a magnate. And his name was Howard. Notice his surname, Hughes. So not Hugas. That's actually used to be a star in Indonesia. Yeah, Hugas, orang Bali keturunan. But in English, you don't pronounce the G, so Hughes. She had a relationship, they were dating, pacaran, but he also supported her tinkering hobbies. Tinkering means experimenting, just trying out different things. Okay, well done. Somebody else, he put his team of science engineers. Who can continue? I remember a picture of Batman. Who's got the picture of Batman in the on the list here? Mahasiswa ya, coba. Ada yang pakai Batman, siapa?
Which one? Okay, Yosa. Yosa,
Yeah.
come on, can you read?
Yeah, Yosa.
Can you continue, Yosa? Come on. Yosa, can you hear?
So from here, he put his team of science engineers. So after the first bit. Yosa, can you read out? Be our news reader. Or MC,
Yosa,
pembawa acara.
me? Maybe Ali. Ali?
Yeah, Ali.
Yeah, Mas Ali Nur Rahim, come on. You can try. Everyone? Laila, can you? Okay. Can I read it, mister?
Yes, okay, sure. I'm listening. He
Okay,
put his team of science engineers from there, okay?
He put his team of science engineer at her disposal, saying
Yeah.
they would do or make anything she asked for.
Good.
Yes, on one
Okay.
occasion,
Yeah.
Hitch was trying to modify his aircraft designed to make plane fly faster. He asked her for ideas. He relied on me, she said. Lamar began studying the aerodynamics of birds and the shape of fish. Afterwards, presenting him with sketch ideas to make wings on planes less square and more efficient. When she showed the result to Howard Hughes, he commented, "You are a genius." During World War II, Lamar learned that radio-controlled torpedoes, which were important in the Naval War, could easily be jammed, thereby causing the torpedo to go off course. She thought of creating a frequency-hopping signal that could not be tracked or jammed. She
Marlon.
did her friends, the American composer and pianist George Antheil, to help her develop a device for doing that. And he
Sorry,
succeeded.
you're skipping 5 lines here. During World War II, Lamar learned that radio-controlled torpedoes, stick to the sentence. Yeah.
Maybe the signal. I have heard this one, actually. This one. Can you hear my voice? It is clear?
Yeah, it's very clear, but you skipped 5 lines. So during
This
World
one.
War II, do it again, please.
During World War II, Lamar learned that radio-controlled torpedoes, which were important in the Naval War, could easily be jammed, thereby causing the torpedo to go off course. She thought of creating a frequency-hopping signal that could not be tracked or jammed. She contacted her friends, the American composer and pianist George Antheil.
Sorry, my pianist.
Pianist.
Yeah.
Pianist. Okay. Pianist George Antheil to help her develop a device for doing that. And he succeeded by synchronizing and miniaturized player piano mechanism with radio signals. Together, they designed for the frequency hopping system, which they patented.
Patented, back then. Very good. Difficult text here, and you read very well. So it was used in war situations. Yes, she had the idea because in America, if you cannot play the piano, but you like to have music in the house around you, you can buy a player piano. The piano plays itself. So you put a roll of paper inside of it, and the music is notated by making holes, drilling holes into the paper, and you can pretend to be playing the piano, but it's called a player piano, so kind of automatic piano. And she got the idea from there, and they got the patent for this. Well done. There was one word, let me see. Oh yeah, signal, yeah. And when there's, let me see. Oh yeah, succeeded, berhasil. Ed di belakang ed ya, succeeded. So not succeed, but succeeded. Telah berhasil. By synchronizing. I think you made it a bit longer, but here's synchronizing. Mensinkronkan ya, in Indonesia. Okay, well done. And we're going to look at, do a little exercise here. Not too difficult. Here you see a stamp that was made. You can see she's very beautiful, but also a brain of genius. Hedy Lamarr, who after she died got a memorial stamp in Austria where she was born, and it's also used in Germany, and to commemorate. And here you can see the drawing of her design, on which we now base Wi-Fi. So we have to thank her for her invention, together with the French composer. Now I want you to use WH questions. So in English, we have questions starting with WH, like who, what, where, when, why, how, and so on. How doesn't have a W, but it's still included. So how do we use these questions? When you go down a little bit, usages and examples to kind of make it easier. When you use what, if you want to ask questions about any kind of information, it's used to ask about things. What are you doing? What do you think about the movie? Very simple. When is used to refer to time. When will the meeting start? When are you leaving? Where, of course, refers to place or setting. Where's my bag? Where do you live? And who, of course, is used to ask about people. Who do you love the most in your family? Who told you that story? And so on. We also have whom. Then you're talking about the object. By whom was Johnny Indo arrested? By the police or by the Secret Service? And so on. So we have various forms here. Now, I want you to make these WH questions based on the story we just read about Hedy Lamarr. So pick out one of the WH words, either what, when, where, who. You can also ask why if you want to know the background of something, and see if you can use it in the story. So these are the question words, yeah? What, when, where, who, why. You can also add, go back to the text. So maybe you can scroll up to the text, Hedy Lamarr as inventor. So above the stamp, yeah. Okay, and see if you can ask questions, because when you make a summary of a text, or when you've written your paper and you have to make an abstract, you basically ask the same questions. What is my topic of research? Why did I do research into this particular topic? When do I have to hand it in? When is the deadline? And so on. So there's many ways of asking questions. Now let's take a look at the text again. So from the top, Hedy Lamarr as inventor. Who can make a question about the first sentence using who, where, why, what, when, any of the WH questions? So look at the opening sentence of the passage. Hedy Lamarr as inventor. It's a sentence full of information. You can ask many questions about the sentence. Who can try? WH question. Who, what, when, where, why, how.
Where was she born?
Very good. We know she's from Austria. She was not born in Hollywood. She emigrated to America. I think she became an American citizen, but she was born in Austria. Where was Hedy Lamarr born? She was born in Austria. One more.
Come on, others?
Could make a question with, yeah.
what is she? Wait. What is she
Say.
discuss?
Wait.
What is she discussed during an interview?
What did she discuss during an interview? Yes, that's later, a bit further down. Yeah. And she did discuss her relationship with Hughes, the millionaire, the tycoon. Yeah. What did she discuss during an interview? Excellent. Something else? Another question? Somebody else, I mean.
Yeah, everyone?
Maybe a question about Howard Hughes, because he supported her as an important figure in her life, in her career. Who can ask a question about the tycoon, aviation tycoon Howard Hughes, HH? Anyone?
Come on, Gilang, Mbak Gilang, Ita, Naila.
What is you just trying to make?
What maybe was in the past tense? What was Hughes trying to make? And this was he's trying to develop or to modify. He already had designs, but he wanted to change them to make his planes fly faster. Don't forget, in the early days of aviation, planes were very slow and they would crash and so on. They were still experimenting. Certainly didn't fly as fast as they do now. So he was trying to modify this. Yeah, what was he trying to do to his aircraft designs? And she, of course, was very clever. She looked at birds. You know, if birds can fly in one way, in the shapes of fish, very creative. And she sketched ideas. She could draw very well, and this she showed to Hughes, who hadn't thought of it. It didn't occur to him to look at nature by way of inspiration. You're a genius. Okay, maybe a question about World War II. What happened then? Tentang Perang Dunia Kedua, ya. Ada bagian terakhir. Who can make a question about the last part, about the World War background? Second World War. Anyone?
Everyone, can you try? Chaptika?
Excuse me, can you just repeat your questions,
Yeah,
please?
so at the end of the article, there's a section about World War II, so the Second World War, Perang Dunia Kedua. Could you ask a question about that part? Because that's when she really became famous. Or that's when she became inventive, you could say. Later on, she became famous because the Americans didn't use it straight away.
What is Lamar learn? What
did she learn?
to?
Yeah,
Sorry.
maybe what did she learn? What did she learn to do? Or what was her inspiration to develop the technology? What did she discover? What did she create? Something like this. Yeah. Who can make a question with whom? Because she was not alone. She was not the only one working on this. With whom? Dengan siapa?
Oh, okay. Who is the Lamar partner to learn something like you? Apa ini? Raju?
Who's Lamar's partner? She formed a partnership to develop this because she needed the musical background, and this man was a composer and pianist, so she could help her focus on the player piano, use the kind of technology of that with signals. Very good. Okay, and the frequency hopping system, which they patented, so they had the rights to it, of course, later became the basis of Wi-Fi. So without Hedy Lamarr, we would not have this online meeting, right?
Yes.
And you would not be using your cell phone 8
Yeah.
hours a day or something.
I
I don't
can see Mr. Frank's face.
Yeah, that's right. We'd have to send a photograph or something. Yeah. Okay. Well done. As you can see, yeah, here she was on the stamp, and you can check the list of question words. Go down a little bit. Yeah, we have when, which is usually when you have a choice of two things. So, of all the drinks on the menu, which one would you like? Which one do you choose, the left or the right one? So, which is also a question word, WH. Whose has to do with possession. Whose idea was it to use a player piano, for instance? Why gives you information about the background, the reason, the cause of something. Why did she develop this technology in wartime, for instance? Because she wanted to sink the U-boats, what we call the submarines, yeah, the kapal selam from the enemy. So how did she develop this? By using a player piano and so on. You can do this. Okay, for next time, a little assignment. Ada sedikit PR ya untuk minggu depan. Write one paragraph about the positive side of the internet and various Wi-Fi based apps here, like WhatsApp and so on, all based on Wi-Fi, based on your experience. So you as a netizen or as an internet user, and another paragraph, so one more, about the negative side, because the internet is not all positive. There's some things that go wrong. There's scams, you know, all kinds. So sorry, go up a little bit. All kinds of negative sides. And in the final paragraph, so you have to write 3 paragraphs, draw your conclusion in the third or closing paragraph. Do you think it used to be a topic for interviews I used to do at university, and the title was kind of symbolic. We're not really talking about this, but is the internet heaven or hell? And heaven meaning very positive, and hell could be the criminal side of the internet, of people trying to get money out of you, people stealing your identity, people can fake your voice and your face and so on. There are a lot of bad things going on. So it's not all positive, but there's a negative side. So 3 paragraphs. Paragraph 1, sketch the positive side of the internet according to your experience. Paragraph 2, the negative side, and paragraph 3, your conclusion. Is the internet based on Wi-Fi a good thing or a bad thing, or is it a bit of both? Yeah, kedua-duanya. There's a good side and a bad side. Okay, so for next time, write 3 short paragraphs. It doesn't have to be very long. But make sure you fill it with information we can discuss. So for next Saturday, next week, try to write 3 paragraphs. A positive side, the negative side, and the conclusion. Okay, thank you very much. I think it's time to stop. It's already 5:30 because we started a little bit later. It doesn't matter. We've done a lot of stuff here today. I'm happy to see even the difficult questions you answered correctly. You're making good progress. The reading is also better because you one point or another, you have to read out English in speeches and in debates and so on. This is a handy skill to develop, and this is getting better as well. We're making good progress. So it's all from me today. We need to take a screenshot. So please switch on your camera, and I say thank you very much, everybody, for taking part today, and do the homework for next time, the assignment. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, all the way from Bandung, West Java. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Frank.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Mr. Frank.
Okay, guys.
pleasure.
Have a nice day.
Mr. Frank, we can take a picture together. Please, everyone, turn on your camera, please. Dina, Anastasia. Okay.
You,
Linda,
Lutfiana,
Lutfiana,
interesting names here. Septica, read very
Septika,
well.
Sorry, I
Ida?
cannot turn on camera.
Okay, Ida,
Konita. Okay.
Lutfiana, Wahyu, and we got Laila. Yeah, still a few invisible. Yang tidak kelihatan. Okay. Nice to see all your faces.
Okay,
Any
I will count 1, 2, 3, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you everyone. See you
Okay.
next week.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
See you next
Frank,
time,
Prof.
Saturday. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you
Prof.
for
Agus, thank you very much for joining this
being the
meeting.
moderator, Ms.
Yeah.
Danin. And see
Yeah.
you next time. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
See you. See you.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
My pleasure. Bye. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Prof.
See you. See you.
Agus, Mr. Frank, and others.
Yeah, Agus, hello. Wearing a cap. Always a different hat. He's got a collection of 100 hats, I think, Professor Agus Vatnola, my great friend.
Yeah.
But, okay, see you next weekend. Okay, bye-bye. Take care.
Okay, thank you everyone. The last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Miss.
Okay.